Oh, my dear friend, sit down with me for a moment. You know, at 80 years old, I've learned that people don't really listen to advice until it smacks them right in the chest, literally. And when it comes to the heart, believe me, mine has had its fair share of scares. If I could go back and give my younger self a list of foods to avoid, I might have spared myself a couple of hospital beds, a few stents, and that one nurse who looked at me like I was already halfway to the grave. Now, before I scare you off, let me tell you something. I'm still here, alive and kicking, because I learned from my mistakes. And today, I want to share with you what a heart surgeon once whispered to me. Foods that you and I, especially after 70, must avoid like the plague if we want to keep our tickers ticking. These are 7 foods that could be the difference between dancing at your granddaughter's wedding and becoming the sad story people tell over mashed potatoes. But hey, don't get gloomy on me. I promise we'll laugh along the way. I'll throw in some of my usual nonsense, because what's the point of living long if you don't enjoy the ride? Now, let's start with the first sneaky culprit. Number 1, processed meats. Oh, friend, these little devils look so innocent sitting in the deli case. Ham, bacon, sausages. They smell like Sunday morning, but they're as dangerous as a jealous ex. You see, they're packed with sodium, nitrates, and preservatives that do your arteries no favors. I used to eat bacon like it was a food group. Back in my 50s, I thought, what's the harm? A little crisp in the morning makes life better. Well, turns out it also makes your arteries crisp. And let me tell you, when a heart surgeon looked me in the eye after my first mild heart attack, he said, "Paul, if you don't quit the bacon, we'll be carving you up again real soon." I quit cold turkey. Though I admit, I dreamed of bacon for months. Sometimes I swear I could smell it even when no one was cooking. That's how deep the addiction ran. Number 2, sugary drinks. Ah, the fizzy monsters. Sodas, sweet teas, energy drinks. They might as well come with a warning label, guaranteed to age you faster than stress and taxes combined. When I was younger, I downed cola like water. And now? Well, now I can't even look at one without imagining my poor pancreas crying out for mercy. Here's a little secret, my friend. Sugar doesn't just make your belly round, it makes your blood vessels harden and your heart work overtime. My cardiologist once said to me, "Paul, sugar is worse than fat for your heart." I almost fell out of the chair. I thought fat was the villain, but no, sugar is like the sneaky neighbor who borrows your tools and never returns them. Now, I know you might be sitting there thinking, "Paul, I don't drink much soda." That's good, but don't let your guard down. Fruit juices can be just as bad. They slap a healthy label on the bottle, but inside, it's a sugar storm. Best thing, stick to water, tea, or good old black coffee. Number 3, fried foods. Oh, my darling friend, this one hurts, because if you ever had fried chicken, you know that the first bite is what heaven must taste like. But then 10 years later, you find yourself lying in a hospital gown with wires stuck to your chest, realizing it wasn't heaven, it was a ticket to the cardiology ward. Fried foods are like that charming man who flirts with you, buys you flowers, and then disappears with your credit card. They seem harmless in the moment, but deep down, they're clogging you up with trans fats. I remember one summer barbecue where I ate so much fried chicken and onion rings, I swore I was invincible. But the next morning, my chest felt tighter than a new pair of shoes. Listen to me, my friend. Fried foods aren't just bad, they're deadly. If you love the crunch, get yourself an air fryer. I resisted it for years, but now I can still get that golden crisp without clogging myself to kingdom come. Now let me pause here and tell you something. If you're enjoying this little heart-to-heart we're having, and I know you are, do me a favor. Tap that like button, leave me a comment, and subscribe to this channel. You never know who else needs to hear this today. Maybe someone in your family. Maybe your neighbor who's still sneaking fried food like it's a secret affair. Let's spread this wisdom together, because life's too short to keep it to ourselves. All right, Now, where were we? Ah, yes, number 4, white bread and refined carbs. This one surprised me. I thought bread was my best friend. Toast in the morning, sandwiches at lunch, rolls at dinner. But all that white bread is like eating sugar in disguise. It spikes your blood sugar, messes with your heart, and gives you nothing in return. Kind of like that cousin who always borrows money but never pays it back. I'll never forget when my doctor told me to ditch the white bread. I looked at him like he just asked me to give up breathing. But when I switched to whole grains, real, hearty, chewy bread, I realized, hey, this isn't so bad. Plus, I didn't get that sluggish feeling after meals anymore. And let me tell you a little secret, my friend. Once you're past 70, every little thing counts. You don't bounce back from bad food choices like you did at 30. Now, one bad meal can leave you wiped out for a week. Trust me, I learned the hard way. All right, my friend, I've given you 4 of the 7 culprits, but don't you dare think the next 3 are any less dangerous. In fact, they might surprise you even more. Stay with me, because the foods you think are safe might be slowly plotting against you. And believe me, you don't want to miss this.
All right, my dear friend, let's pick up where we left off. 4 foods down, 3 to go. Now, these next 3 are tricky because they often hide under innocent disguises. They sneak into your meals like little spies plotting against your heart. And at our age, after 70, every little bite counts. Number 5, ice cream and full-fat dairy desserts. Oh, now you're really groaning, aren't you? I see that look on your face, the one that says, Paul, you've taken all the joy out of life. But hear me out. I've been where you are. Ice cream used to be my midnight companion, my comfort on cold nights, my sweet little rebellion. But as delicious as it is, it's packed with saturated fat and sugar, a deadly double whammy for your heart. I remember one night I had a small bowl of chocolate ice cream, just a little treat before bed. By midnight, my chest felt like a marching band was rehearsing in there. I told myself, Paul, this is the last time. And it was. Oh, don't think I wasn't sad. I mourned for weeks. But I replaced it with frozen berries and yogurt. Still sweet, still satisfying, and my heart grateful. Number 6, salt-heavy snacks. Chips, pretzels, salted nuts, those little crackers you think are harmless. They're sneaky little murderers for your heart. Sodium raises your blood pressure, makes your heart work overtime, and can lead to heart failure if you're not careful. And at 80, believe me, your heart does not want to work overtime unless it's dancing at a wedding. I learned this the hard way. There I was, watching the ball game with my grandson, munching on salted popcorn like it was my last day on earth. Next thing I knew, my blood pressure shot through the roof. The nurse came in, looked at me with that "I know what you've been doing" stare, and said, Paul, you're lucky you didn't end up in ICU. That was my cue. Switch to lightly salted or unsalted snacks. Your taste buds adjust quicker than your arteries do, my friend. And now, the grand finale, the 7th and most dangerous culprit. Deep-fried restaurant meals disguised as healthy options. Yes, I'm talking about those fried calamari salads, tempura vegetables, or even fried fish masquerading as dinner. They lure you in with the promise of health and leave you with clogged arteries and regret. I'll never forget the night my daughter insisted we try this trendy, heart-healthy place downtown. I ordered the fried salmon salad because it sounded healthy. 10 minutes later, my chest felt like a jackhammer was rehearsing in there. I told myself, Paul, this is the last time. And it was. Oh, don't think I wasn't sad. I mourned for weeks. But I replaced it with frozen berries and yogurt. Still sweet, still satisfying, and my heart grateful. Now, I know this all sounds like doom and gloom, but that's the thing. You can live a long, joyful life if you make the right choices. Avoid these 7 foods, take care of your heart, and you can still dance, laugh, and tell your grandchildren stories about that crazy old uncle or friend who survived 8 decades with humor intact. Let me tell you something truly important. Life after 70 isn't about deprivation. It's about making smarter choices, about savoring foods that nourish rather than punish. Whole grains, fresh fruits, vegetables, lean proteins, they become your allies. And you can still indulge a little, a piece of dark chocolate, a tiny treat once in a while. Life isn't about never enjoying yourself. It's about moderation. You see, friend, every bite matters at our age. Your heart doesn't forgive like it used to. I speak from experience, and while I've made mistakes and lived through them, I've learned to laugh, to enjoy every heartbeat, and to share these lessons so others don't have to pay the same price. And here's a final little nugget for you. Laughter itself is good for your heart. So whenever you feel like you're missing out because you can't have certain foods, just remember this story. Chuckle and know that every smart choice you make is a victory. At 80 years old, I feel grateful. Grateful for the lessons, for the family, for the mornings I wake up and can still walk, talk, and joke with friends like you. So take this advice seriously, but not so seriously that you forget to enjoy life. Friend, if you've made it this far with me, I hope you've laughed, maybe winced a little, but most importantly, I hope you've learned something that might just save your heart. Share this with someone you love. Like this video, comment your thoughts, subscribe to the channel. Help spread the wisdom, because hearts are precious, and at our age, every single beat counts. So remember, avoid processed meats, sugary drinks, fried foods, white bread, ice cream, salty snacks, and disguised fried meals. Replace them with nourishing alternatives. Laugh often, move gently, and cherish every heartbeat. That's how you make it past 80 with humor, health, and stories to tell. And my dear friend, promise me one thing. Don't just listen to an old man ramble. Live these words. Make your heart your ally, and it will reward you with years filled with laughter, love, and maybe a little dark chocolate every now and then. Because life is precious, your heart is precious, and you, yes you, deserve to keep on dancing.